Okay, I literally just finished this book and we're going to talk about it. I know you don't know what this book is because I do not have the dust jacket on it because y'all know how I hate dust jackets, but this is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I took a lot of notes on this book. Do you see all the sticky notes? Like, this is probably more sticky notes than I've ever used to mark up a book, even when I was in high school and had to mark up my books for a grade. Like, I do not promise that this video is going to be spoiler free. I will let you know down in the description box if this video actually ends up being spoiler free. Y'all know how I roll. I don't make promises. A Court of Thorns and Roses is Sarah J. Maas's new series. I want to say it's going to be a trilogy, but don't 100% quote me on that because I don't know. It's basically a very long, drawn-out Beauty and the Beast retelling that's going to span a few books. A lot of people keep drawing parallels between this book and Throne of Glass, and they kept saying, you know, the main character is way too much like Selena Sardathian, blah, 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 blah. And I guess that's easy to do because they're two series by the same author that are coming out basically at the same time. One is not finished and then she's starting the next one, so like the Throne of Glass books are a lot fresher in people's minds and they can still recall them, you know, pretty easily to make these types of contrasts. I literally finished Heir of Fire just before I started reading this book and I don't see no parallels. I'm sorry. I don't. I feel like that's one thing that S.J. Maas did really well here. That was keep a definitive line between her Throne of Glass people and her Court of Thorns. I'm not saying all that. And her ACOTAR people. We're going to call it ACOTAR because I can't speak English right now. That was really angry for no reason. I'm sorry, y'all. Basically, A Court of Thorns and Roses is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, or at least that's what it's being marketed as. It follows a... How old is she? Like an 18-year-old... Let's say 18 for the sake of an argument. She's an 18-year-old girl named Feyre, and there's no way that I could say her name without sounding super South Carolinian, because you know how South Carolinians say the name Sarah? We say Sarah, or at least that's how we say it around here where I live and where my grandma is from. Old people say Sarah, so every time I hear Feyre, I hear Sarah in my head. There's no way I can say that without sounding like a hick. I'm not really all that sorry. Anyway, this book follows Feyre after she does something. She kills a wolf in the woods. You learn that much from the dust jacket. I'm not spoiling you at this point. And there are some consequences to killing that wolf because that wolf belonged to a very powerful fairy lord. And he comes to her house, breaks down her door, and screams in her face, demanding payment. Like, that's so rude. But you didn't have to bust her door down like that. You didn't. I have a lot of thoughts about this book. I have not organized any of them because I literally just finished it and I just have feels, so I'm sitting down in front of my camera to film this. I don't know if all of my thoughts are good thoughts, but you know what? We're gonna muddle through them. Speaking of muddling, I don't know. That's one of my major issues with this book. One of my biggest issues with this book. It's not that, you know, it was too much like Throne of Glass, because I already said that I don't think it was like Throne of Glass at all. I didn't see any parallels between the characters. None of that. It's not that I don't know. It's not that it's the first book in a series, because y'all know I always hate the first book in a series. I never think they're good. I don't know why I never think they're good, but I don't. It's just that I found a lot of this book, or a lot of the plot of this book, let's say that, to be very transparent. And it has nothing at all to do with the fact that it's a Beauty and the Beast type of book, so clearly it's going to follow, however loosely, the plot of, you know, a Beauty and the Beast type story. I just thought that the things that happened, even though I'm familiar with the way the plot's going to go, you can still surprise me with the way you interpret the way that plot is supposed to go. And I just was not surprised at all. I think like maybe twice I was like, ooh, I wasn't ready for that. Ooh, I didn't know that was going to happen. Other than that, I found this book to be very transparent, and that bothers me. Especially because there's so much hype, not hype around this book, but in this book there's so much buildup as to how fairies are so mysterious, and they always tell the truth, except for when they're lying. And they're immortal, and they're clever, and they're so smart, and they will outwit you, stupid human girl. And I'm a stupid human girl, and I'm sitting here like, you're doing the absolute least right now, aren't you? My mama called me and I lost my train of thought. I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, transparency. This book was very transparent. I don't know. I like a little mystery with my shit, and I didn't really feel very much mystery here. Everything was laid out very obviously. I felt like you didn't have to work for this story at all. And I'm not saying that I always want to work for my story, I don't read crime novels or mystery novels, you know, for a reason, because I don't want to do that much work. But I feel like this book had a lot of room to be cleverer than it was. And it's not just one thing that was transparent. Everything was transparent. It was transparent to me when she got to when Farrah got to Tamlin, who was our male protagonist, manor. It was pretty apparent what she was there for. His intentions with her were very transparent to me. The actions of his emissary Lucien, who I love to pieces, by the way. Oh my god, I love my precious baby Lucien. But Lucien's actions were also very transparent. Like, he's the worst wingman ever. Let me tell you what, he's so terrible. He makes no attempt to make Tamlin look good, or, you know, flatter him or chat him up to Farrah, or none of that stuff. Just whenever she walks in the room, he's like, "Oh, I gotta go," and then he leaves. One time he tries to like kill her on accident, kind of. I don't know. Like, you are not doing your job, baby. You're not. I even thought that the villain in this book was transparent towards the end. I liked whatever. I liked Amarantha a lot better when she was just a faceless entity and you only knew her as she or her actual name that you eventually find out, you know, Amarantha. She was a lot cooler, a lot more mysterious, a lot more hardcore, and just generally a lot more badass before you actually met her. When we met her in this book, I was like, y'all scared of her for real? I mean, I guess you can be scared of her because she's kind of a psychopath. She's kind of crazy. She's a little nuts, but I don't know. She just doesn't do it for me because she's built up to be like this hardcore, like, killer. She's supposed to be so charming and beguiling and clever, and people just fall under her trance because, you know, she's just it. And she's basically she's kind of bratty. Honestly, she's kind of bratty to me. And she's just, the screws are too loose for I can't even work with her because the screws are too loose, and on top of that, she's a brat. It's like this entire time she's basically throwing a giant temper tantrum, only she has crazy magical powers. So her temper tantrums are a little worse than everyone else's temper tantrums. I don't know. And because I felt this book was so transparent, I also felt that the actual, I hate to say this, I felt that the writing itself, it was very simple. It wasn't, I don't know, I don't want to use the word ornate to describe writing, but that's the only word I can think of right now. It wasn't as ornate as I like my stories. Even Throne of Glass is a little more, the writing's a little more intricate, the details a little more intricate in Throne of Glass than it is in ACOTAR, because I'm not saying that whole thing. Not happening. There was really only one point in this book where I said to myself, oh my god, that was beautiful, and that was the events of Calanmai. Calanmai, I think that's how you say it. The events of Calanmai. I thought that was really gorgeous. I thought it was beautifully rendered. Like, I saw that happening in my head. It was sparkly and, you know, beautiful and nice. If I say beautiful one more time, you have permission to come through your computer and smack me in my face. Yeah, I love that. That was great. But the rest of the book, I feel like that was one shining moment in kind of, I don't want to say dull or boring because I wasn't bored while I was reading this, but by comparison to just that one little scene, I felt like the rest of the writing in the book didn't necessarily stand up to that one particular part. I'm sorry, y'all. Don't hate me. I'm also not 100% sold on the characters here. There are a few of them that I am particularly partial to. The two people in this book that I care the most about, not even care the most about, I care about one of them and I'm intrigued by the other one, are Lucien and Rhysand. Those two are interesting to me. Tamlin, I think Tamlin is funny. I think he's funny in like in like a socially awkward dork kind of way, because in the beginning he is all types of hot messness. Let me tell you what, he's a hot mess. He doesn't know how to smile. He just makes bizarre ass faces and acts like he's smiling. And at one time when he was trying to like compliment Farrah on like not being filthy, he was just like, so your hair looks clean, and that was hilarious. I don't know. I think he's really funny. I'm not really terribly invested in him as a romantic lead. I was at one point, but the second that he and Pharaoh were separated, y'all know it's gonna happen. It's a Beauty and the Beast story. They have to split up at some point. The second they got separated, it's like he never got that sexy back. So I really hope that happens in the next book. I don't know. Lucien, I'm slightly in love with. Rhysand, I'm a little bit intrigued by. Feyre, honestly, I can live without her, especially after the events that led to Calanmai. Let me tell you what, when everyone is telling you, hey, you need to stay in your room and you don't need to come out, you need to set some traps and get you some knives, just do not leave your room, whatever happens, and you keep leaving your room, I hope you die. I really do. I really do. I hope you fall down the stairs and something eats you because you're an idiot. How many people have to tell you to stay in your damn room before you stay in your damn room? Don't make no sense. One thing I'm calling shenanigans on in this book. Ooh, buddy. Okay, I know fairies always tell the truth except for when they lie. But the whole thing about iron and the glamour basically that Tamlin put on Feyre's family so that they didn't remember him coming to her house. But then when she goes home, her older sister is like, all it took was an iron will for me to not fall under your demon lord person's thrall. And I was just, that was the biggest reach. Like, and then, I don't know, after that point, after Feyre went home, I felt like the reach for everything just got longer and longer. Like, sugar, do your arms hurt? I do not know. I bet they do. It was just, I don't know, the end of this book was just a reach for me. It resolved itself way too simply. I mean, I know that it's going to be a series and that you have to leave, you know, some room for other things to happen in the series. I honestly, at this point, don't see why this should be a series. I really don't. When I picked it up, honestly, I thought it was going to be, when I first heard about it, I thought it was going to be a standalone book. I honestly don't know how this is going to be made into more than one thing because, honestly, I'm already kind of bored. Oh, yikes. Ooh, I feel so mean right now. I don't want to be mean, but I'm bored. The next book is going to have to be all types of hot fire to keep me interested. I mean, or even just to involve me, to get me invested, because at this point, I'm really not invested. Really, the only major parallel that I can draw between The Court of Thorns and Roses and what's that other thing? Throne of Glass. I don't know why I can't remember Throne of Glass today. The only serious parallel that I can draw between the two of them is that in the first books, you know, being this one and being Throne of Glass, in the first books, I felt like it was kind of choppy. And I guess that's just S.J. Moss's style. Like, she makes your introduction to the series be super choppy so that she has room to return to those choppy things and draw on them for later. But I don't know, it just doesn't make for a very pleasant reading experience to me. But for me to have not really felt this book, I had a lot to say. That's probably why I had a lot to say about it though, is because I don't know guys, I'm really not feeling it. It's like, I really want to give this a 2.5 star rating for myself. So I think that's what I'm going to do. On Goodreads, I'll probably give it a 3, just to be kind and round up. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. If you have thoughts about A Court of Thorns and Roses and you think I've missed a very important point here, because I mean, this is completely unscripted and I'm just talking really out of the side of my neck at this point. If there's something that I missed here that you would like to discuss down in the comments below, please leave me a comment because I would love to talk to you about it. If you can persuade me to not find this book transparent and kind of underwhelming, by all means, you know, get to persuading. I really wanted to really be in love with this and I'm just not. I'm probably still going to get the next book, or, you know, at the least borrow it from my friend when she gets it so that I don't have to spend my money on it just in case I don't like it, because I pre-ordered this and I'm a little upset at myself because I could have gotten The Wrath from the Dawn instead and I didn't. Anyway, check the box below for all the usual stuff. Leave me a comment down below the box if, again, you can make me find this book less transparent, or if you want to talk about it, or, you know, if you just want to talk about anything. Well, not anything. I'm not leaving that door open. Hell no. I'm not doing it. Leave me a comment if you have something to say about this book. That's really all I'm going to say. I'm rambling, so I'm going to go now. Until next time, book people. Bye.